How does the best running back in college football go from being a second-round draft pick to missing out on the biggest game of his life?
I literally was on rock bottom, that being my feet standing on the concrete floor of jail.
In 2011, Montee Ball was a household name for college football fans. As a Heisman finalist and a record breaker, Ball was widely recognized as one of the greatest running backs in NCAA history. But behind the scenes, a darker story was unfolding. As Ball's fame grew, so did his struggles with alcohol addiction. What began as a bad habit spiraled into an addiction that derailed his NFL career. With mounting off-the-field issues, Ball eventually faced a crossroads. Continue down this destructive path or find a way to turn his life around. His story truly began in Wentzville, Missouri, and his parents, Montee Sr. and Melissa Ball, were fully invested in his football journey from the start. By the age of 8, Montee's father was even coaching him. Growing up outside of St. Louis, Missouri, Montee was a diehard Broncos fan, and his bedroom was decked out in blue and orange, and he dreamed of one day getting to play for that team. He grew up playing football, standing out as more talented than most kids his age. As his skills continued to shine, his family began to believe that he had a real shot at playing at the next level. They even made a plan. If Montee stayed disciplined both on and off the field, they would fully support him, even if it meant relocating to wherever he chose to play college football. With this in mind, Montee attended Timberland High School, where he quickly established himself as one of the most dynamic running backs in the state. Across his 4-year high school career, Montee rushed for over 8,200 yards and scored 107 touchdowns, averaging an impressive 8.26 yards per carry. In his junior year stood out as his most remarkable season, with over 3,000 rushing yards and 32 touchdowns. Beyond football, Montee was a 2-time basketball letterman and earned all academic honors 3 times, proving that he excelled both on the field and in the classroom. This success earned Montee a 3-star rating with offers from Indiana, Iowa State, Kansas, and Missouri, along with other top programs. While he considered several teams during the recruitment process, it was a night game at Wisconsin against Ohio State that sealed the deal. The electric atmosphere convinced him that Wisconsin was where he belonged. So Ball committed to the University of Wisconsin, where he played for the Badgers from 2009 to 2012. Montee Ball appeared in 9 of 13 games during his freshman season, finishing second on the team with 391 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. This was a year of growth, as Montee eased his way into the program, learning from the veterans on his team. While competition for playing time can often create tension, that wasn't the case for Ball. At the time, he was the 3rd on the depth chart, backing up John Clay and fellow freshman James White. Despite White earning the starting role over him, Ball maintained a positive attitude and developed a strong bond with his teammate. After getting asked what his relationship was like with fellow running backs, this was his response. James White is one of my closest friends on and off the field. Last year, when he took my spot, it motivated me to focus on working harder and becoming a better player. I think that drew us closer together because we have healthy competition. If I get a long run, he wants to get in and have a long run as well, and vice versa. Midway through his sophomore season, Ball would finally get the opportunity he was looking for. John Clay and James White both suffered injuries. With the team needing someone to step up, Montee was ready to show them what he could do. In a pivotal game against the Iowa Hawkeyes, the stage was set in the 4th quarter. Ball seized the moment, scoring the game-winning touchdown that solidified the victory. From that point on, he had the starting role. He had a decent season with just under 1,000 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns, just a glimpse of what would come in the following 2 seasons. But with added responsibility came with more pressure. During Montee Ball's junior season, the weight of expectations began to take its toll. The Badgers had brought in star quarterback Russell Wilson, who Montee credited with calming the offense and boosting his confidence. While this helped, it could only do so much. The pressure to perform was higher than ever, and Montee started turning to partying and drinking as a way to cope with his anxiety. Living the full college experience, Montee found himself leaning into the lifestyle without recognizing the unhealthy ways he was managing his stress. Interestingly, his off-the-field habits didn't seem to affect his on-the-field performance. There was no glaring red flags, no wake-up calls. He was still dominating on Saturdays and having one of the most remarkable seasons in NCAA history. Montee finished the season with 1,923 rushing yards, 33 rushing touchdowns, and 306 receiving yards. Add in another 6 receiving touchdowns, this would tie Barry Sanders' record with 39 total touchdowns. His historic performance earned him All-American honors, a spot as a finalist for the Doak Walker Award, and a 4th place finish in the Heisman Trophy voting. A reporter asked, after running 996 yards and 18 touchdowns in 2010, did you anticipate having this type of season back in the summer? If you had told me then how many touchdowns I would have now, I probably wouldn't have believed it. As an offense, I did see us playing well, given how hard we work and how focused we are. I felt that I would have success, but not at this level. Montee Ball returned for his senior season at Wisconsin, opting to forego the 2012 NFL Draft despite being a Heisman finalist and the reigning Doak Walker Award recipient. His decision was a risky one for a running back, given the physical toll of the position. Despite Montee's love for the college party scene, his dedication to Wisconsin and commitment to the team was even greater.
Montee Ball was present at the location of a fight a few days prior to his attack, but they do not believe Ball was involved in the fight. Police say the fight that occurred last Friday morning involved UW students, members of the UW football team, and other individuals that are not affiliated with the University of Wisconsin Athletics Department. Although Montee Ball was assaulted on a public street, this incident does not fit the pattern of random violence that we have seen in the recent weeks in downtown Madison.
He was the victim of an unprovoked assault near Wisconsin's campus in the early hours of the morning. An online source stated Ball was walking around the street at 2:15 a.m. after socializing with friends. 2 friends walking ahead of him turned around and saw Ball on the ground. 5 men had surrounded him and were kicking him in the head and chest. Now, I can't say what words were exchanged or why they were even walking around campus at 2 a.m., but whatever the reason, a group of guys had it out for Ball. Apparently, that street was close to several bars, and people were already known for getting into fights in that area. But thankfully, he made it out okay. Ball did suffer a concussion and facial injuries, but he assured fans via Twitter, "I appreciate the support and thank you for your concerns. I will be okay. See you guys in September." Despite this early setback, Ball went on to have another historic season. On October 13th, he broke Ron Dwayne's Big Ten and Wisconsin's career touchdown record with his 72nd career scoring during a career-high 247-yard rushing performance against Purdue. He won the Doak Walker Award, becoming only the 2nd Badger to earn that honor. On January 1st, 2013, he became the first player in Rose Bowl history to score a touchdown in 3 consecutive appearances. And in his final collegiate game, Ball tied Barry Sanders' single-season touchdown record with his 2nd score of the day and concluded the season with 1,830 rushing yards and 22 rushing touchdowns. By the end of his college career, you might have expected Ball to be ready for the NFL. Unfortunately, his journey was clouded by personal struggles.
I'm very open about it, struggled with alcoholism once I got to college at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and the way that it came about was, for me, I sort of lived my life in a fishbowl is what it felt like, to where my social anxiety was getting the best of me, which obviously created a slippery slope with depression, self-medication with alcohol, and ego as well.
By the time the 2013 NFL Draft came around, these challenges made it difficult for him to leave those damaging habits behind.
With the 58th pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Montee.
Despite this rocky history, the Denver Broncos selected Ball in the 2nd round, 58th overall. He debuted with 8 carries for 24 yards in a 49-27 win over the Baltimore Ravens. Despite flashes of promise, including a 117-yard game against the Kansas City Chiefs and a pivotal touchdown against the Tennessee Titans, Ball's rookie season concluded with 559 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. Heading into his 2nd season, Ball was named the Broncos starting running back after Knowshon Moreno's departure. However, his 2014 campaign was derailed by a groin injury in week 5, paving the way for CJ Anderson to step in. Ball ended the season on injured reserve, finishing with 172 rushing yards and just 1 touchdown. And in 2015, Ball would face an uphill battle just to retain a roster spot. Struggling in the preseason with only 68 yards on 32 carries, the Broncos waived him on September 6. As a former 2nd-round pick, Ball never lived up to the expectations, finishing his 2-year stint in Denver with 731 rushing yards and 5 total touchdowns. After his release from the Broncos, Ball's career began to take a downward spiral, likely a result of his bad habits he had developed during his college years. These struggles became evident when he showed up 30 pounds overweight for a tryout with the Green Bay Packers. In late 2015, Montee Ball joined the New England Patriots practice squad, but his stint was brief. His contract expired on February 1st, and just days later, he would take the stress out on someone he cared about.
Here's Montee Ball's mug shot after he was arrested at a hotel early this morning.
Ball played in the 2014 Super Bowl for the Denver Broncos during his rookie season. He was cut from the team this preseason.
In the span of just 1 year, Montee Ball went from a career in the NFL to the reality of a courtroom and domestic abuse charges.
What is your plea to that charge?
Guilty.
He was arrested on a felony battery charge following a dispute with his girlfriend. On February 9th, the Patriots promptly waived him, effectively signaling the end of his NFL career.
I played in Super Bowl 48. Super Bowl 50, I was sitting in jail right here in Madison.
Now nearly 3 years sober, Ball knows the only person to blame is himself.
Later, Ball accepted a plea deal that included 60 days of house arrest, probation, and mandatory counseling for domestic violence and alcohol abuse. A recovering alcoholic, like his father and grandfather, Ball admitted to heavy drinking throughout his college and professional career, which significantly contributed to his struggles both on and off the field. Something that definitely became evident to the rest of his team. What started as a simple bad habit quickly escalated into a full-blown addiction that ultimately derailed his NFL career. As his off-the-field struggles grew, Ball found himself at a pivotal moment. Stay on the path of self-destruction, or take the necessary steps to turn his life around. And what better way to turn your life around than to serve others? So, Ball found a new purpose. For nearly a year, he lived and worked at a homeless shelter as part of a city initiative to provide safe housing and support for those experiencing homelessness. This transformative experience not only shaped Ball's recovery journey, but also deepened his commitment to serving others. Right now, at this hotel, we have 58 residents, so it's pretty busy. But I studied sociology, social work in school, and it's honestly something I didn't see myself getting into. But as I started to really think about what I'm good at, what I really want to do, this was it. Giving back is something that I thoroughly enjoy. Now, Ball works as an outreach specialist for Wisconsin's Voices of Recovery, helping individuals overcome addiction and rebuild their lives. Inspired by his son Maverick, who played a pivotal role in his path to recovery, Ball has embraced his role as both a father and an advocate for change. It all came full circle when on June 5th, 2023, Ball's remarkable turnaround was recognized with his induction into the University of Wisconsin's Athletic Hall of Fame. That same day, it was announced that he was one of 78 FBS players selected for the 2024 College Football Hall of Fame ballot. If chosen, Ball would become only the 13th player in Wisconsin Badgers history to be inducted. More than a decade later, after setting records in college and battling depression and alcohol abuse, Montee Ball managed to turn his life around completely. And his story taught me an important lesson. If we want real change in our lives, we have to take action. We can't let ourselves fall into this victim mentality. Instead, we need to seek help with humility and truly believe that when we do, God begins to open doors that we never thought possible.